Hey everyone, this is Jeff Locklear with H&H Color Lab, and I want to show you a few quick little video clips on some of the new features in hhschools that you may not be familiar with. So let's take a look and see what some of these new features are. The first new feature I want to demonstrate is the ability for you to select a field value, copy the data in that field value to a new field value that's blank. So in the case of this particular project, I have homeroom information, and for a yearbook CD I need to have that data in a teacher field, but I don't want to disturb the homeroom field. So all you have to do is add the teacher value, come up to homeroom and right click on it, and from this selection select copy field data to. It brings up a dialog that allows you to click a drop down and select which one of the available field values in the project that you can copy this information to. In this case I'm going to select teacher. Click on copy, and it's done. It's as simple as that. So the next new feature I want to show you is the ability for you to validate all the subject data at one time and have that data put into one simple report. So what you do is underneath the project menu option, you'll select validate project data. It displays a real simple dialog that shows you in white the field values that have complete data. In red are the field values that have incomplete data or no data whatsoever. And from this you can select to export a CSV file of the data so you can use that to correct the missing information that's actually in the project. So let me show you what that report looks like. So here's an example of the report that I just exported out of that particular project. And I have subject ID, teacher, grade, last name, first name, and student ID. And it shows me which subjects have the blank values and what column or what data that is that's missing. So it's a nice, simple, easy report for you to work from. One of the features that's been asked for is to expand the capabilities of tagging images. So you're used to being able to select an image and you can tag it very simply for sorting purposes to either filter for tagged images or filter for not tagged images. You can also select an image and you can flag it as a yearbook pose. So obviously when you flag something and tag it as a yearbook pose image, you never change that because you want to be able to select those images and keep that yearbook tag intact for the entire life of the project. So with just the one other tagging option, it doesn't give you a whole lot of variety for different filtering and tagging that you may need to do. So what we've done is we've added the ability to add colored labels to the images that you can filter by. So we can select an image, and in the Images Action toolbar now there's a label that we can click on, and it displays for us the 5 different colored labels we can apply to an image. So we'll just give this a yellow label. This one here, we can select it and we can give it a green label, let's say. So let me come down here into a ways into the project, and I'm just going to select a range of images, and we'll go ahead and label all those as yellow. So now we'll go back to the beginning of the project, and you'll notice at the very beginning here I've got images that are labeled red, and the reason for that is these are staff members, they're teacher members, and this project has been set up and the data has been set for automated composites. So in the teacher field for the actual teacher, I have the teacher's name, and then in the grade level I also have the 3rd grade. So I don't have staff in the other teachers' grade field values to sort by. So I've gone through and I've labeled with a red label all of my staff members. So if I need to order ID cards from just the staff or any kind of a service item, I can come over here to my filtering toolbar, and there's a new label option added here, and I'm going to select red, and it brings all of the images that have a red label into view. So now I can place an order from just those ones, then knowing that that's just the staff. I can clear this, and if you remember, I had selected a range of images that I labeled as yellow. So again, if for some reason I needed to set a yellow label for these students for filtering purposes or whatever, I can do that, and I can, very easily, and I can select all these images, come over here and very easily clear all of those. So it's a real simple way to add more tagging options for filtering and sorting of images. So the next feature I want to show you is the ability to take your export file from an hhimagehost prepay event and import that directly into hhschools and have it automatically match the package information to the correct subjects. Prior to this new feature, you would have had to export that file out and manually enter that information one at a time. It's a very slow and tedious process. Now what you can do after you've exported that file is come up to your project menu, come down here to Package Order Imports, select hhimagehost prepay v2 export file. That's the file that we're going to import into this project. We'll navigate to where that file is located, open it up, and you've seen this dialog before. This is basically when we import a data file into hhschools, showing us how the headers match up. Everything looks good. We're going to hit import. In this particular file there are 129 orders. So this first dialog that comes up, this is all of the subject data from hhimagehost that is matching to the subject data in your project. So as you can see here, there's our subject data from the image host, and this is the project data that the import is matching to. It shows you that it's a good match by the check mark. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of that to import and match. Then, as you can see here, these are our manual match dialogues. These are the subjects that don't have a good solid match based upon the requirements for this import. And there's one of 12 subjects that I have to manually match by viewing the data. So 129 orders. There are 117 that were a good match. I only have 12 that I have to manually match. And it's a simple process that with each one of these dialogues, I'm going to see the image host data. There's Leopold Aldridge, kindergarten, Mrs. Allen, and it's trying to match it to, as its best guess, last name Leopold Aldridge. There's a value of K in the project and KA for the teacher. So K probably is kindergarten, KA is probably Mrs. Allen. I'm going to select to match and go to my next one. So as you can see in viewing this, you go through it. You can select all the ones that are good matches. Anything that isn't a match, you'll skip. That'll end up in an exception report that you use to kind of, at the end of the import process, take that information and manually figure out how that's supposed to be imported into the project.